for helping individuals and corporate organizations build your personal and corporate net worth via investing in the capital market. It's been a long time. I've been away since Wednesday last week, all the way till the end of the week. And here we are today, another beautiful day when we can continue now to explore opportunities in the markets. Thank you very much for joining from wherever you are. I hope you are having a blast as far as market sentiments and activities is concerned, and you are taking full advantage of opportunities as they come. Just after we saw a terribly low market last Tuesday, Wednesday came and there was a resurgence. Let's recap. And I'd like to remind us what really happened was that suddenly institutional investors went ahead to sell off their shares preparatory to the capital gains tax of 30% that was supposed to take effect from January. So, in other words, what I could deduce from everything that happened between minister that they will revisit that particular capital gains tax was made, the entire group of institutional investors who thought they were dumping on retail investors like me and you had to go back to start buying back those stocks in full force. And that was what saw a serious rebound as far as the last 3 trading days of last week is concerned. So initially they thought they Naira per share, but come Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those same stocks from 54 started selling for 64 Naira per share. And good thing is, all the way till Tuesday when we were here as the market was tanking, I was always telling us, don't sell your treasures because you are in a marathon, not a sprint. I know within me that some people must have panic sold their stocks, and now they must be regretting because after selling so low, you're going to be buying them back so higher. This is why we need to develop restraint and the muscle to stay on in the market, because you are in a marathon, not a sprint. Let's continue to remind ourselves, if you must stay 10 years, 15 years, 20 years in the market, or even 30 years in the market, then make it sink in that market fluctuations is a part with it. The best way to continue to stay that long and be able to ride through difficult times in the market like this is to invest confidently in what you are sure of, and of course make sure that you are staying long enough knowing it is now a lifestyle. So you are not a hit and run investor. This type of things usually hurts those who come into the market with a hit and run mentality, because there is always the fear of losing money, and that makes you panic at the slightest market downturn. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to be back here again, and hopefully we have a blast today. It's Monday, the 17th day of November 2025, and as usual, we will go through the markets to see what went on last week. I will do that review and then come back to your comments. We'll carry on till 1 p.m. when we'll be taking your calls on TikTok. I have really missed you all. It's been a fantastic relationship we have had, and I really felt it even much more in those 3 days I was unavoidably absent. Please hear me. The stock market is not a get-rich-quick scheme. We are here building momentum for what is going to be a part of our life for the rest of our lives. So there is nowhere you are running to. A lot of people are in businesses today and have stayed long. And I'm sure one secret of being this long in whatever business they do is that they found a way to survive the downturns, because it's not always a happy day. By the way, without market downturns, where would the wealth transfer come from? All right? So all we know is stay long enough, and then you will eventually never be bothered and continue to go unscratched whenever the market dips. All right? All right, on to the review of trading activities in the last 1 week. The Nigerian stock market closed the week ended 14th November 2025 in negative territory, losing 2,511.22 points to finish at 147,013.59 points, despite strong gains in stocks like NCRO and ASO Savings and Loans. Tracked by the All-Share Index, the market opened at 149,524.81 points, but a wave of panic selling earlier in the week erased about 4.6 trillion naira in value. The downturn lingered despite a strong rebound the next day when the market gained 2.6 trillion naira following assurances from the Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun. His intervention likely eased concerns around capital gains tax and helped soften the weekly decline, though the market still ended in red. Activity, however, remained strong. Investors trading 7.32 billion shares worth 156.42 billion naira across 134,383 deals compared to 3.57 billion shares valued at 107.01 billion naira the previous week. Reflecting the overall sentiment, market capitalization fell to 93.501 trillion naira from 94.99 trillion a week earlier. The market breadth shows 48 equities appreciated, up from the 20 the previous week. 45 equities declined, a notable drop from the 75 previously, and 53 equities closed unchanged. Overall, the market ended the week under pressure, but showed resilience beneath the volatility. Bearish momentum intensified on Tuesday following a panic sell-off. As we saw, a rebound began on Wednesday based on that intervention by the finance minister, and then the index rose 2.88% to gain through the remaining 2 trading days and eventually closed on Friday at 147.115 points. Okay. Sectoral performance, we saw the industrial goods index was worse hit, dropping 6.97% following a 10% decline in stocks like Dangote Cement and a 6.67% fall in Boa Cement. Mid caps also weakened, like Austin Lars down 18%, Triple G falling 9.98%, and Beta Glass dropping 6%. NGX oil and gas index slipped 0.85% as Seplat fell 1.83%. But on the positive side, the NGX insurance index gained 2.42%, supported by over 9% increases in Cornerstone Insurance, Guinea Insurance, and International Energy Insurance. The NGX banking index also closed higher, up 1.26%, while the consumer goods index posted a modest 0.46% gain. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for the review of activities in the last trading week. So we will go on to take your comments right now, but you know how we do it. Go ahead on all platforms you will, like, share, and make sure you are making some noise and making your presence felt. We are back with a bang. I have a few news from the NGX also to share with you concerning some of our stocks, particularly one of them is Tantalizers. Ladies and gentlemen, a fantastic deal was signed by Tantalizers, and I'll read it to you. I will even share it on YouTube. But before then, let me welcome every one of you. Thank you very much. It's been a while. You have really been missed. Remember, Maobi, our constant, able, and always available co-host of mine, and of course he will continue as moderator, including Gratitude Bots, Rehobot, and Luke, and of course Benita if she's back. Ladies and gentlemen, we go on now. Femi Oguni, Gladys Edegware, Kolawole, Shemshak Longi, thank you very much. All on YouTube. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I see you there, Alerted King, repeatedly, continually sending these things up. Ladies and gentlemen, can I also inform you that we successfully concluded our subgroup election activities, particularly that of Europe. And I'm excited to announce to you that the one who goes by the name Blaze in our Discord group is the subgroup leader of our Europe subgroup. Some of you are not aware that we also have foreigners in our club, the Network Investors Club, and I'm excited to also announce we are now over 3,800 members. Okay, so amongst the subgroup leaders, we have one foreigner. He's actually naturally from Bulgaria. I think he resides somewhere in Europe, of course. He's been very instrumental in the educational aspect of the club. So if you are not yet a member of Network Investors Club, you don't know what you are missing yet. You're going to be missing a lot more when we go full swing next year, doing physical sessions and all of that. Time will not permit me to give you all the breakdowns, but we will be able to share alongside. So the entire central leadership team is planning a general meeting where all subgroup leaders will be meeting with the central group, and there we will fashion and share the vision of Network Investors Club and share the ideas and all the things we are doing at the background. So if you have not located your subgroup, find a way to get there. Once you join the group, read the messages very well, ask questions. The landing page is not where you go in and start discussions. That's a welcome arena. You are supposed to find your way to the NGX channel, foreign stocks channel, the day trade channel, even the knowledge bank, where we have materials to help you understand some very important topics regarding the operations and the activities of the market. All right, we go on straight to your comments now, and let's have the comments coming in right now. Please be relentless in posting your comments. So when you first type it, make sure you copy to clipboard and repeatedly post, because the screens before me are scrolling automatically and I may not be able to take them one before the other. I want to join the group too. I sent a message, no response. Big fish, I was completely off the rest of the week, all through the weekend as well. So I'm just back. In fact, my coming here to do this is much more like a sacrifice that I feel I need to do. I haven't been able to do anything whatsoever, but I'm back. So maybe after today's session, I'll be off the office, go and take some rest, and then respond to some of your messages. So what you can do, you that is hearing me now, repost your request on my Instagram DM to join the club. Whatever your request is, please repost so yours will come up, because I'm going to be starting from the latest requests and comments. Okay, apologies for not being able to do respond to you. Aleshin Loyin Lekon say I was able to scoop Exodus at 16 on Friday. Now Bitcoin also dropped massively in the course of last week up till the weekend, and it is more like the first major setback under, is it $90,000 per coin or something. So the crypto market is also in a bit of a bearish mood right now, and so that's the reason why Exodus can be that low, 16.95. That is a giveaway. I've told you before, the fundamentals for that stock is fantastic, and so because Bitcoin is dropping, it drops, doesn't mean that the fundamentals are wrong. Now that means you are buying it far cheaper. Everything about that stock you are buying now is far cheaper in terms of all the per share metrics you want to look at to pick a stock. So good one, Lekon. You have the eyes of an eagle. Coach, what's going on with USCN? And is the waiting season over? It's not over yet. Now let me tell you what's happened. The November-December BA market set in very early enough. In fact, towards the end of October. And while we got into November and the market was still gradually tanking, we had the incident of most sell-offs that happened as a result, as a reaction to the capital gains tax. So that heavy bearish dumping that happened with 4.6 trillion erased in capital market capitalization is not naturally a part of the November-December bearish trend. So, and that has almost certainly corrected itself, because the following 3 days after that major dip, obviously not normal, has corrected most of those losses. All right. So what I expect now is, after that correction, which has happened, the market will continue to trade sideways, even go a little bit more bearish than it is as we get into December. So the best deals are still ahead of us. Nobody can predict the market. We are not very sure what will happen, what news could come up to push the market upwards towards the end of December. We don't know. So I think we can be one step in at a time and watch little by little. For instance, even though we didn't expect such a dip and then I was off the market completely, that was a good opportunity to pick some of your target stocks. But it's still not too late. And then as we keep watching, as the bearish sentiments keep setting in, you just take position. Most of them are still low. I'm very certain that all your target stocks will not be the same price when we enter January and February, because they will be doing far better than they are now. There will be so much anticipation of very good results. There will also be so much attention towards dividends and all that. So that is what drives the market. People will think, oh, let's get into these stocks before they announce results in April or March. Whereas for us in this club, we already took position November, December. Okay, so while the rest of the market is jumping into the market in January, February, we're already in before January. That's the whole idea. Coach, I have sent messages on IG since August and this month and no response. Kindly check, please. Otumba Ishola, my apologies, please. Like I said, I was off almost the whole of last week, couldn't respond to nothing. And your own case is very, very serious. Since August, please resend that message. The automatic response on my IG must have displayed it as a red message. And that's one reason why some messages get skipped. Maybe I should disable that thing so I can be sure that only messages I've read are reflecting the same. Okay? All right, let's go on to your comments. Keep them coming. Coach, welcome back. We have missed your live session. Please recommend stocks for 2026 so we can start taking positions. Oh, my stock recommendations for 2026, not yet ready. Honestly speaking, I usually take my time to do that. And if I've not gone through some of the reports, but I've given you a lot of hints, especially now that I do live streams. I may not come out to say these are the list of stocks to expect to perform in 2026, but by reason of what I've been saying on a daily basis here, you should be aware now some of those stocks. You remember I shared with us about Tantalizers, how I'm seeing that they have significantly reduced their losses and they are turning the corner very clearly from the books. Well, beyond what I saw on paper before I started saying, look, Tantalizers is now one of our 1 million share challenge. Excuse me. You know what? News in the market is that Tantalizers has signed a 5-year offtake agreement with Harvester Fishery LLC USA to export premium wild-caught tiger prawns and pure shrimps. I will share that with us and read that out to you on YouTube right now. So if you are watching on YouTube, take a look at this document because we speak with facts here, and it is important that when we make investment decisions, they are very well guided. I already shared with us how Tantalizers will be great, and things are showing that it's the right place. I also told you how I bought Tantalizers. In fact, I bought at 2 naira 30 kobo. The thing dropped. In fact, during that dip, it dropped to 1 naira 90 something. And some of you bought at 190 something. Well, that's the memo right there. If you are watching on YouTube, you would have seen it right now. Tantalizers PLC, Nigeria's emerging foodtainment powerhouse, is proud to announce the signing of a landmark 5-year tripartite offtake agreement with its own subsidiary Tantalizers Fisheries Limited and Harvester Fisheries LLC, a US-based seafood importer and distributor headquartered in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Under the agreement, Tantalizers PLC and Tantalizers Fisheries Limited will supply Harvester Fisheries, the buyer, with agreed minimum annual quantities of wild-caught tiger prawns and pure shrimps over a 5-year period. The deal, valued in multi-million US dollars, represents a major step in Tantalizers' strategic expansion into the global seafood export market. Tantalizers Fisheries Limited, which operates within a designated free trade zone in Nigeria, is a fully export-oriented enterprise engaged in the harvesting, trawling, processing, and exportation of wild-caught shrimp and prawn products in compliance with global quality and food safety standards. The company's operations are designed to meet international demand for sustainable and traceable marine products. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why, as you can see on the screen also, Tantalizers is on full bid. Can you see that? 77 million shares of Tantalizers bidded for at 2 naira 35 kobo, no offers. Only 958,000 Tantalizers have been sold after 2 hours plus of trading in the market. So while I was telling you I bought at 2:30, it closed at 2:35 on Friday. And here we are now, full bid. 2:14 on Friday. Now maximum gains for the day and full bid. If you are not following me, you are losing money. That's the summary of that story about Tantalizers that I want to share. I hope you got that memo, and congratulations to everybody who bought Tantalizers. Well, some of you may be feeling, so you have lost out. No, you've not. I'll give you an idea. When a stock is being chased like this, don't run after it. You know how we do it? If you find it interesting enough to add to your portfolio for the long term, you have not lost anything. You are still at the early stages of getting into this company. All you need to do, stay patient, stay calm, supplies will come. There are a lot of trading money that got into that stock under 2 naira. So if the stock gets to maybe 2 naira 50 kobo, there may be supplies. Buy. Remember, you shouldn't be afraid of buying. It is for the long term. If you buy at 250, if you see, good for you. If you don't, wait until it's available and completely all over the place in the market. Then you can start taking positions in batches and stages. Tantalizers is back and obviously doing all the right things. You noticed it was shared with us here severally, excuse me, that the new owners do not want to continue as just a fast food chain. They were diversifying into various businesses, including entertainment. So this is one of those things. So you have Tantalizers Fisheries Limited from that memo we read. Now that means that is a subsidiary of the parent Tantalizers PLC. Please understand the business before you eventually participate. What that means is Tantalizers has opened itself up to earning foreign exchange. And you know what that does to the balance sheet of a company when they start earning foreign currencies, right? Okay, Grace says, Coach, I didn't buy enough. That should be Steven. Yes, got only 200K units. Well, congratulations on the one you already have. It will now be time to, if you desire, hold on and then wait for it to be sufficiently available. Most of the short-term funds that got in will offload early enough. And then you take a long-term position. If you buy, you stay in there. So it has a long way to go. There's a whole lot ahead for this stock. So there's no need feeling out of it. Let me tell you, so many other people are not aware of what Tantalizers can become by this time next year. So you that knows, When it becomes available at 250, 260, start taking position little by little and take full advantage of the December season to accumulate the stock. Remember, I've mentioned this severally, that Tantalizers should be one of our 1 million challenge stocks. And I'm happy I sounded that information early enough, and most of you are already in it. Very importantly, most of you are already in it. So this is how we can make money. A once forgotten stock can just turn something else tomorrow. All that matters is just find out when you start seeing those signs. All right? So that's what we're here to do. And hopefully we gather enough of these opportunities and take advantage. Coach, Plug is down badly currently. What's your thought? Plug will have its own time. I think the general market crash in the international market is also affecting it badly. Most stocks in the international market, the US market is experiencing a serious bearish trend right now. And we're still waiting to see how long that lasts, because at least, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 2 days of trading last week, it was all bearish, especially the tech sector. So Plug should have started a reversal from the $2 range. Unfortunately, it couldn't and has been caught up in this most recent bearish trend in the US market. All we need to do is just stay patient and wait. Let me tell you another long-term idea around Plug. Plug is one stock that will benefit from the entire AI craze that is going on, or AI hype that is going on, because most of the chips, most of the robotic, most of the operations of AI will require even crypto mining. All of these things requires serious supply of power. So very soon, power stocks are going to be the new gold, because every other thing needs serious power generation to make it happen. From crypto mining to all of the AI activities, chip manufacturing and everything else will need serious power generation. And that's where Plug comes in. So the time for Plug will come. Like I say always, if you are in the market for the short term, you are at risk a lot of the times, because you can't predict short-term outcomes, right? But if you are in for the long term, then you are almost going to be flawless if you give whatever you are investing in the sufficient time required. Elegance G says, hi coach, you don't talk about MTN. Is it not a good stock to buy? Elegance G, I wish that you had a response on the comments. To say I don't talk about MTN means that you surely are not here every day that I come. And then the few days that you are here, it means that those are the days I don't mention MTN. Now, let me give you an idea. By this time last year, I was the only one talking about MTN and how wonderful it is. Just the same way I have started spotting some stocks that are doing a turnaround. If you are listening very closely, you will notice two stocks I've mentioned that are doing a turnaround. Tantalizers is one of them. I said it all here. The other one is FTN Cocoa. It's also doing a turnaround. It was by this time last year, everybody had abandoned MTN because of foreign exchange losses. Their books were in tatters. Everything looked discouraging. Stock price tumbling from 300 naira down to 170 naira. It was by this time, after going through the third quarter result, I said, MTN, the worst days of MTN are over. Those were my words. I said it here. And then, even though it has still not manifested physically, the stock price began to adjust, because by the time the full year result now was published around February this year, MTN started taking a new shape in terms of price movement. And so it moved 170 naira to 200 to 300, and what we have got to 500 before the last sell-off that happened, and kept it at 400. I don't know how much it is now. So when a stock moves from 170, I started mentioning, and it's now 500. I don't get to mention it anymore because it's more like inviting you to go and lose money. Fantastic stock, can still go higher than the 500, but I have a personal restraint in me that the value that was hidden is now over, as in it's been taken. So anybody getting in now, prepare for a pullback that will affect your investment, or stay long enough so that the value creation continues to grow the stock price. But don't expect a speedy price movement. That's the situation with MTN. And MTN is not the only stock in the stock market. So I can't keep talking about MTN on a daily basis. I was also talking about TIP over and over and over and over. When TIP was 2 naira until it got to where it is now. So I won't stay on one stock because I personally, my approach is look for the next best thing, drag the attention of people, they get in there early enough and sit and stay. You will also be correct if you accuse me the same way for Bitter Glass. Bitter Glass was 15 naira by this time last year. I kept talking about it. In fact, when I went through my stock prediction for 2025, on the 3rd of January was when I published that the list is still there. I will review it. That's how I do my prediction for the new year. I will now review my 2025 predictions, how they came out, how they performed, preparatory to the next video, which will be my prediction for 2026. Right? So on that list, I was looking and I saw Bitter Glass. Bitter Glass, as at that 3rd January, was around 60 naira per share. But I started talking about Bitter Glass around November at 50 naira. So when Bitter Glass now climbed to 400 naira, in fact, from 300, I stopped talking about it because why should I be telling you about a 300 naira stock that was 60 naira or 50 naira earlier? I'm inviting you to a late party that everybody has enjoyed from and juiced everything in it. So that's why you see Bitter Glass now going back and forth, 400, it drops to 300 and so on and so forth. So anybody who went in for the hype of Bitter Glass, you are late. Okay? Let me not waste too much time explaining all these things. I'd rather go straight to the questions so I can deal with a whole lot. Ikem Benzoni said, welcome back, coach. Please, sir, what do you think about Etana oil? Petroleum marketing stocks will struggle with what is going on, especially when it comes to the distribution of petroleum products, as the CNG buses, trucks, tankers that Dangote organized are in town. But there's something good in this regard for Etana, because I saw somewhere, I think I mentioned it here also, that Etana is among those companies that will benefit just like MRS. Let's remember that MRS was the sole distributor of Dangote refinery byproducts in Nigeria. You know, MRS is owned by a cousin to Dangote, one of the Dantatas. So that was an easy deal. But somehow, some way, it looks like Etana has also found a way to figure an arrangement to also benefit from that distribution system. Okay, so on that note, Etana might just do better this year, this coming year. Okay, so that's the situation with Etana. But I've not gone back to their finances to convince myself, especially third quarters. I've not really looked very well at most of these reports. And my own personal target is to go through all of them, convince myself on what is worth getting into before the year runs out. Okay, so we have a lot of time. Most of these stocks will still tank. The reason why I don't rush is because based on previous experience, you can make up your mind about a stock today and tomorrow the price goes further down because we still have December to deal with. Let's not forget, so that you don't feel weary and feel bad. I keep preparing us for times like this. It's the best season to find stocks. So the The market will be weary again towards December, mid-December, before Christmas, and almost after Christmas. Why? A lot of spending, money will be pulled out to do things. So if you have cash, keep it and strike at that period. That time people don't care. People want to fund vacations. And you know these days vacation is more expensive. Before COVID, $10,000 was worth about 3 point something million. It wasn't up to 4 million or something like that before COVID. So that was my travel budget, minimum travel budget to go with $10,000. Every other thing can be done extra. Okay. So you just needed 4 point something million. You've generated $10,000 and you move. If I'm not mistaken, not up to 5 million naira, you have generated $10,000. But guess what? Now, to generate $10,000, you need 15 million naira plus. Now, that means there'll be a lot that will cost you more in your portfolio. So imagine funding, that's a single trip. Now, most families will be vacating abroad, means we are talking about 30-50 million naira. It will come from the market. A lot of that will come from the market. Nobody receives that kind of salary per month to spend. So it is those assets that will now fund those trips. During that time, that's the reason why the pressure comes on the market that time. Some people are trying to complete their buildings. Most people want to move. That's personal residence. They want to move. A lot of people want to move from being tenants to landlord, and they want to do everything in December, finalize and walk into their new home in the new year. All of those things. Some people are getting married. They want to fund their marriage and so on. A lot of weddings happen towards the end of the year because that's when you have all family members from across the world coming together to attend occasions like that. So all sorts of spending. The market will feel that heat. It is that time that people like us are doing our final shopping as far as the discount sales in the stock market is concerned. Do you get the point now? All right. Coach, please, what's your take on UACN? UACN remains a fantastic bargain. When the way UACN does is, when it wants to be overlooked, it gets completely overlooked and almost treated as trash. And then afterwards, the market wakes up and realizes, oh, I made a mistake about you. That's UACN for you. So if you are interested, go in and get UACN before it becomes scarce. You know how everybody was just looking at Tantalizers? It was looking, okay, and truly, you will look at the price of Tantalizers and say, okay, I can still come back to this one no matter how it runs. Correct. But just watch the scenario. It was rejected and suddenly it's being run after. Never mind. If Tantalizers is on your watch list, relax. Don't force it. After the initial excitement, it will all calm down and become available. There are too many stocks that behave like that this year. Even the Ella Lakes that we're looking at, that is all over the place now. There was times when Ella Lakes became so scarce, unreachable, and so on. Okay, so UACN, I've looked at it. It's fantastic. It's one of those turnaround stocks. Then I was mentioning UACN. That time we didn't have a daily session like this. We were just on WhatsApp group. UACN was 12 naira. I think 12 naira. There were times when it was bought at 8, 12, 15. I didn't stop mentioning it. Okay. Dr. B. Rich says, Coach, I see Bitter Glass at 1.5. They have no competition and they have moved into West Africa. That is very possible. The question is, how soon? Because they have to do things to match the opportunities and potentials that they have for the market to react. Market has done reaction number 1, if you like. So my purpose for caution is, you know, Bitter Glass is the most hyped on social media. Whenever you see people trying to say if you invested 100,000 in the beginning of the year, this is what it becomes now. Best performing Nigerian stocks since January 2025 till date, all manner. If you put 1 million naira in this stock, this is what it will become. All those things drew the attention of the market, of the general public, to bitter glass. What it does not tell them is this thing cannot repeat itself automatically the same way you saw it. But the problem is people will go in with that mentality that, okay, January till November, bitter glass moved from 60 to 400. That means if I put the money now in the same bitter glass, because it is the reigning, it is the one that is the best according to them, I want to see it rise to 800 naira plus by this time next year. It may not happen automatically that way. The future value of bitter glass is not under contest. It's not questionable. The point is, how soon can the management manifest that value for the market to price it accordingly? Because as we speak now, bitter glass can come out and say they want to do bonus because they need to increase the share capital of the company. The capital base needs to be increased. That means they will mark down the price further below the 400 and something. Even though those who were in it will see that bitter glass, they will have extra bitter glass in the form of a bonus. I'm not saying they will give bonus. I'm just giving you instances of what can happen and still delay the 1,000 face value. And if people don't see it at that 1,000, they don't care whether there was bonus. They won't, because that cannot be seen. So the worry would be, I bought it at 400. It's now 200. Nobody will say they gave bonuses and marked down. That's why knowledge is key. So if you understand all these things and you know you can wait, not that people will come in and think, okay, by next year it should be 850 or 900. Market doesn't work that way. So I am here to give you all of those details that can't be captured in a social media content video of 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and so on. You get a point now? All right. So it's not an accusation that people are purposely known. There is no time to give those details in those videos. Hello, coach. How do we join your road to millionaire? Okay, I guess you are Ms. AJ. Ms. AJ, I guess you are asking about the 1 million challenge. Very simple. Your 1 million challenge is you deciding to pick up a penny stock with prospects, accumulate up to 1 million, so that every 1 naira gain by that stock automatically means 1 million naira added to your portfolio. And then as time goes on, suddenly what you bought 5 naira, 7 naira, 3 naira per share is now selling for 15 naira, 20 naira, depending on how long and how well the company does. So we forcefully make you a multi-millionaire and avoid you having bits and pieces of little stocks there, here and there. And then when the stock eventually starts paying good dividend, because if you have 1 million shares of a particular company and they pay 10 naira, 10 kobo today, for instance, as dividend, no problem. That 10 kobo per share dividend means 100,000 naira for you. But do you know that those companies have capacity to suddenly grow the dividend to 40 kobo per share, 50 kobo per share? When they start paying as little as it sounds in the ear, 50 kobo, multiply by your 1 million shares, that's a 500,000 naira as dividend. So once they pay dividend, it drops in quantum. When the stock price moves by 50 kobo, that's 500,000 naira in capital gains for you straight. That's why we are in the 1 million shares challenge. So we want to forcefully make you a multi-millionaire. You may not know that you actually can do it. So instead of chasing big little stocks, pieces and bits here and there, you concentrate your efforts on at least one stock, build it up to 1 million shares. Now, if you are a student or a civil servant who may not be able to afford 1 million shares, no matter how cheap Never mind, your 1 million share challenge could be 100,000 shares of that company. That's fine. But by all means, accumulate a particular stock and you will see the wonders. I am not looking forward to deciding, okay, 1 year after what has become of the 1 million shares. No. I personally am looking at 3 to 5 years and upwards. Particularly from 5 years upwards, you will be amazed what you invested in. And if you think 5 years is too long, recall COVID-19. You still remember a lot of things that happened that time. It felt like a year ago, but it's already 5 years going to 6. So that's what we're trying to do. Most of you will live long. I'm telling you, you will live very long. So what we are doing is so that your long life will not come with frustration and suffering. That's what we're doing now. So relax, 5 years is too small, 10 years is too small. We will still be here and you will see results. Okay? All right. On to your comments on YouTube. Kolawole Samson says, we're still going to experience, Coach, are we still going to experience more dips as you have predicted? When should we begin to buy? As November, December is the bonanza time in stocks. Okay, I guess your question came before I mentioned it, but I've just said it that some sell pressure can still come into the market before Xmas when everybody else is distracted and people are funding all sorts of projects. Some people are going to be buying their first car this year. Okay, and some people, they've already had cars, but it's Belgium cars. They want to buy their first brand new cars. 30 million, 50 million, 80 million, 120 million. Those monies will come from the stock market. So as everybody is funding their wants, not needs, by that time, the market may dip a little again. And then you do your final bonanza purchases and climb your bed. Okay? Can we go into Netflix now? That's coming from Lekon. Lekon, let me even check. Have they done the stock split? Because I told you I was away, so a whole lot I haven't been following. Let's see what happens with a stock like Netflix. Give it some time and I'll get back to you. Netflix. I am interested in accumulating that stock and giving it 10 years. What we couldn't do 10 years ago with the likes of Tesla, Amazon, and co, I want to be able to do it with Netflix. So if you invest $1,000 or $10,000 in NVIDIA 10 years ago or 5 years ago, this is what it will become. I want to do that with Netflix. If you are interested, you join me. Please, it's for the long term. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Netflix is now $111 per share. Interesting, isn't it? Price has been reduced. Yes. Alerted King, the price has now been. So those who bought Netflix when I made that video that please, Netflix is going to do stock split, it's 20 for 1. Suddenly they have 20 shares of Netflix. Is it 20 or 10? I've forgotten. I think it's 20. 20 or 10, right? 10 for 1, yes. Because it was around 1,100 before the split. So if it's at $111 per share, that means it's 10. So they've marked it down. That's what the split is all about. So from now, Netflix is now affordable, more affordable to everybody else. And that's what gives you the money. When more people want to buy it now, they can buy as much as possible. And that demand will now increase the price over time. So we will be here. Maybe by this time next year, Netflix will be selling for $200 per share. That is almost 100% from the 111 it is selling now. That's how you make this money. Eventually, Netflix will build again and start looking at $300, $500. That's how you make the money. So for a stock like Netflix, all you need is time. Just buy and rest. Can I inform you? Donald Trump bought Netflix bonds as part of an investment strategy. He acquired $82 million worth in corporate bonds in August and October. For your information, you will be hearing this only from places like this, only from this kind of place, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it about Netflix. We'll go on to your other comments. By the way, 10 minutes from now, the lines will be open so we can take your calls on TikTok. So get ready and keep your environment quiet. Coach, don't come back. Oh, welcome, sir. I'm also privileged to be part of the group, such a major group. Margaret Gabriel, thank you very much. Please, how does one join the group? Okay, Tony, send me a DM. Just follow me on Instagram. Send me a DM requesting to join Network Investors Club or the group. I'll forward the link to you, but you must first download Discord on your phone. It's like WhatsApp app, but it's called Discord, right? So that the link can take you to the club. Without that, not possible. Olawumi Odubena, coach, my account opening with Atlas met with some delay. Do you advise I continue to trade with my current broker because I don't want to miss out of this November dip? Never mind, go ahead, keep dealing with your current broker until whenever the account with Atlas comes out. We are not forced. So we're not forced to use a particular broker. We're just trying to see how it can be easier for you and cheaper for you, since by my findings so far, it's Atlas who gives the best in terms of transaction fees. Okay. Coach, welcome back. I'm just joining you. Tyson J, thank you very much. You have been missed. Please talk about TIP-PO. Sir, TJ, we've spoken a lot about it. TIP-PO is fantastic. Talking about the Initiate PLC's public offer. Anybody who has funds, get in there, buy as much as possible. Remember, TIP is a 1 million shares challenge stock. Even though it's a double-digit stock, because we're telling ourselves, look, buy stocks that are pennies that have a great future. It's easier to achieve 1 million shares. And it appears that TIP was too expensive for some people to use as 1 million share challenge. Was selling at 14, selling at 10, selling at 12, and so on. If you even sold at 17, okay. So the public offer is a fantastic opportunity to buy it for less than 10 naira, and that's a penny. At that point, it's a penny stock again. So that's the advantage of buying the public offer. TIP, fantastic. Now let me share another information with us. This is what we're about, giving you real-time updates of what's really happening with some of your stocks. NACO, there was notification of dealing by an insider. NACO had a director actually buying it. Guess what? Let me share it on YouTube as well, because that's why we have this entire systems. So you can also see with me, I share real-time updates with facts for you to see. A director, his name is Sahid Lasisi, an executive director of NACO, bought 1.2 million shares, 1,277,000 shares of NACO at 106 naira per share. So he saw when the stock dropped from 125 to 106. That was the November-December bearish movement that we were seeing. He quickly dived in, knowing it was too cheap. But the general dump by institutional investors who were trying to bail out before the capital gains tax takes effect in January, dragged it further down to around 80-something naira per share. I think, so after director bought at 106, imagine 1.2 million shares. It went down further under 90 naira per share. If I recall, now that's, if you multiply the difference between what it dropped to and what he bought, we are talking about almost 10 million naira difference. If not more than 10 million, more than 10 million, we're talking about 20-something million naira difference. 106 minus 85, okay, let's say 90. 106 minus 90 is about 16. Okay, 16 times 1.2 million. That's what he lost when the market dropped after he bought. So even the directors suffer red in their portfolio. Do you get the point? I want you to know that you are not on a suicide mission where every time you see a red, you run away. No. That director lost almost 20 million when the market collapsed the moment he bought. He bought on the 14th of November. That's it. The date, everything is there. He bought in Lagos. Everything is there. So he saw his portfolio dip by nearly 20 million after he bought his NACO. But let's see how much NACO is now. Is it back to where the price he bought it? Just a moment. There you go. So that you understand, it's not you buy stock, it drops, you jump out, you start being scared. You are behaving like an untrained investor. 106. It's back to the price he bought it. That's it. Now let's see. NACO. That's it. In fact, on Friday it was 109. So he bounced back to profit after saying, so what if he sold? He sold and lost almost 20 million. Then he will now come back to buy it at the same price he bought it the last time. That's it. NACO is back to 106. How much he bought it when he did on the 14th of this month. That was just about 3 days ago or so. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that's the way it works. The director of NACO successfully bought 1.2 million shares. For whatever reason, I'm just trying to point out that when you buy a stock for long term, stay in it no matter what the market is saying. It could just be a trap to shake out weak hands. A lot of times these things happens. Okay, coach, should I keep accumulating USCN or hold ATL? Let's see how much USCN is at the moment. UACN. USCN back up to 61.50. Closed at 60 naira on Friday, up to 61.50 right now. I thought they were selling at 50 something. Well, 2.2 million shares bidded for versus 826,000 offers. So the demand for USCN is building up. If it's still within the range you bought, you can still accumulate. It's an easily 100 naira 150 stock. Give it, by this time next year, USCN shouldn't be selling for anything less than 100 or 150. If it stays like this until December ends, ladies and gentlemen, USCN will make my 2026 stock prediction list again. I'm sure it's on my list for 2025 performance, and it has done very well. The beauty of that thing is the date when I prepared that list is reflecting, because I used my my notebook in my iPhone. For those of you who use iPhone, you will notice, in fact, every other notebook in your phones, the dates you put down a note for the first time is recorded. It stays there. Okay, so the date is there, the price of the stock is there, and everything. Even the video I made for prediction is also on my social media handles. If you check very well, go up to 3rd of January or so, you will see it on YouTube, on Instagram, and TikTok particularly. Those videos are there. So you will see the stock prediction for 2025. USCN is there. I think if it stays this way at 60 something up till the end of the month of the year, it will still make my 2026 list. All right. The Centivar says, yes, saw at 54. Diri, Sarah, AB says, coach, please, which shares are we buying for 1 million naira challenge? All right, let me run through the list again. I remember when we started the 1 million challenge, that was when everybody was queuing up for Academy Press because they were doing bonus. And at that time it was at 9. And I said, hold on till they mark down. Now look at Academy Press, looking beautiful at 6 naira 10 kobo, full 443,000 shares bidded for versus 485,000. If you put in a bid at 610, you'll be buying it at a very good price. Academy Press is one of them. 1 million share challenge stocks. Charms is one of them. Qtix is another. Cornhall is another. Ladies and gentlemen, see your CWG, which I mentioned at 14 when the entire market dipped, is back to 17. That's a lot of money in just a few days, not even up to a week. Other 1 million share challenge stocks I'm looking at. Now, the likes of FTN Cocoa is a 1 million share challenge. I want to see that stock drop to 4 naira something again. That's where I need to pick up. I'll patiently wait. Experience has taught us not to chase stocks, right? I know the likes of a stock like ROT Briscoe, Tantalizers, UPDC REIT, even UPDC. I think those are the 1 million challenge stocks I mentioned in the course of that challenge. You would have noticed also that I deliberately haven't mentioned insurance stocks because of the recapitalization that may be happening next year. Okay, so that's it. Coach, what's happening with VFD, Access Bank, and Fidelity Bank? I'm currently on over 25% loss on each. Should I sell and buy tip offer or any other good stock? Hold on to your stock, Oma Beauty. A dip or red or loss is part of the entire market ecosystem. You can't do without it. What if you buy tip and it also drops? Will you sell at a loss? Before you know it, you will keep selling at losses and will never make money in the market. That's the mistake a lot of people make and eventually lose money and run away. Take advantage of the current dips in these stocks. VFD, Access Bank, and Fidelity are telling you, buy me cheaper now. Come lower. Reduce your initial, for instance, you are 25% down on those stocks. If you go in and buy more based on your personal conviction, because you made up your mind from the onset to buy these stocks, you need to give them a chance, which is time, patience, to manifest those things you thought of when you bought them. That way, you are giving the money you invested that looks like it's down now a chance to grow. I made an analogy the other time. I said, if a seed is planted, until it dies, it will not germinate. When you do your analysis and pick a stock and the price dips, that is it dying. It will surely bounce back unless you didn't do your homework, unless you now regret buying those stocks because you're not convinced eventually. But once you make up your mind to buy a stock based on all the things that you heard and decided this is the one for me, then see any dip as an opportunity to buy lower. And if you buy lower, the original entry price of for that stock, your original enterprise drops also. So an opportunity to reduce your entry price, because there is no guarantee that if you sell it at a loss, what you are going into will also not dip. So in order not to keep repeating that selling at losses, you've got to stay firm and imbibe the culture of stock price dipping as part of the way of life in this market. However hard and long it takes me to keep ingraining this into you, to keep imputing this into you until you grab it, I will, because that's all that is worth being in the market for. That's when you can make money from this market. Okay? Gentlemen and ladies, it's already 1 p.m. Time to open the calls on TikTok. Wherever you are, you will have to be on TikTok to make your calls and your voice be heard. Please, if you are calling in, take position, keep your environments quiet. We want a decent and undisturbed conversation. So get set as the lines are going to be open now so we can hear ourselves. Please.